Morning. It's Tuesday, July 7th. And yesterday morning, I'm in the car coming home from having it serviced, and I got the radio on, and I hear a commercial for the state college at Old Westbury. And the gentleman on speaking is the president of the college, Calvin O. Butt. Now, that name sounds very familiar to me. I know he was a civil rights activist. I didn't realize that he was president of State University now. He's also the Reverend at the Abyssinian Baptist Church. And previously, that's where Clayton Powell had been the Reverend. I mention this information strictly as background to the story that I'm about to tell, right? Anyhow, Butts in his advertisement, in his commercial, states that the State College at Old Westbury is a very diverse campus. They specialize in educating those who are in the lower income bracket. Their tuition is very reasonable based upon what I could see in the chart. It probably costs about $20,000 a year to go there as a full-time student. But since it's Old Westbury, they can live at home, and then the tuition cost would be considerably less, like only about $10,000. Anyhow, he stresses the diversity and the opportunities that he's giving to these young people, and he promotes the quality of education. And this brings me back to where I got involved with them. I was looking for a job, and most of you know that I had experience. I was a Nassau Community College professor for many, many years. And at this particular point in time, I was thinking about possibly being a full-time professor. I was looking for a job. It might have been at the time that I got fired once, or twice too. I don't remember which episode forced me to look for a job. Anyhow, I get on the telephone and I ask about coming down for an interview. And I speak to a young lady there, and she tells me that I don't quite meet the qualifications that they're looking for. I told her, I said, I don't understand how you can say that since I've been teaching at Nassau Community College for over 10 years, and I've been in the computer service business, managing and directing sophisticated systems and programming. I know half a dozen computer languages. I've worked on small computers and large computers, so I don't know how you can justify not giving me an interview. So she says to me, well, it's not your professional experience I'm concerned about. It's your ethnicity. I say, what has ethnicity got to do with being qualified to teach? And she says, well, we're a very diverse school and we have certain population that we service, and we are looking for a black or Hispanic woman to teach the classes we're thinking about. So I said, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but let me tell you something. I've been working on Long Island for many years in the computer business, and I can tell you categorically that on Long Island, there are no black or Hispanic women that I know of teaching at any of the colleges on Long Island or even working as computer professionals in industry right now. So I said, I think whatever you're doing at this point will be shortchanging the student population. And whereupon she says to me, I appreciate your position and everything, but I can't offer you an interview. So I said, okay, and I was very polite. I thanked her and I hung up quietly. And I still think that part of the problem with our educational system is that we do not necessarily hire the best people. I have another story that is very similar to this story that I'm going to tell you right now also. A little later on in this interview cycle, I called up the Borough of Manhattan Community College, spoke to the chairman of the department there. They had a job as associate professor. And I told him what my qualifications were. And over the phone, without coming down for an interview, he hired me. And he said, you can work in the evenings from 6 to 10 or something, 4 days a week, and you'll be a full-time associate professor at Borough Manhattan Community College. And that was great as far as I was concerned, because I really didn't want to travel into the city. I never have wanted to travel into the city, but traveling into the city for evening classes, I figured it would be easy enough for me to do. So I accepted the position, and he told me one other thing that was very interesting. He said to me, I'm leaving the job as chairman of the department, but the new chairman will be in touch with you shortly, and I'll still be here, but I'm giving up my chairmanship. And I said, that's fine. I have no problem with that. So at that point, I hung up, and I'm getting my life organized, figuring I'm going to start teaching there. And I get a phone call a couple days later from the new chairman of the department. And she says to me, we cannot give you this associate professor. And I said, why is that? And she says, well, you don't have a PhD, I said, well, I've been teaching Nassau Community College for X number of years. I don't have a PhD. I'm perfectly willing to go to school and get a PhD, but I have all of these years of experience in the field, as well as my teaching experience. So I said, I don't see why you can't give me the professorship. She said, well, I could give you a lecturer's job, and that was at considerably less pay. So I said to her, well, I'm not interested in a lecturer's job because it's really not going to pay me enough to do what I have to do. I said, but tell me the truth about why you're doing it. And she admitted to me, she said, I have a friend. And I said, okay, I understand. And I said goodbye, and I hung up. And that's another example of what goes on. Her friend might have been a good teacher, a bad teacher, or whatever, but that's what it is. We're going to get many not qualified people in the business to do the job. So that little commercial has triggered this entire ranting effort. And I'm glad I could tell you these stories. And one more thing. This situation is not confined to education. It happens in all walks of industry and life. But I think that's enough for today. And so I will see you tomorrow.